Good afternoon. Time for another scintillating episode of Sports Nothing But Sports with Kent Sterling, brought to you by the great people at Today's Dentistry. Mike O'Neill is the best dentist I've ever gone to. He can be your dentist. All you have to do is call him, 317-849-2933. We're out of Colts practice today. They got OTAs rolling. Jacoby Brissett looks good. Devin Funchess looks good. Everybody looks good, but that's what OTAs are for. That's what minicamp's for. People looking good. Enthusiasm, I think, is really kind of driven by the weather. The weather's terrific today. Sunny, cool, very, very nice. Perfect for getting outside and practicing football. Frank Reich, he spoke to the media a little bit earlier. Let's hear what Frank Reich had to say.
Just for fun, you might have saw we went rock climbing yesterday. That was a fun team event. We thought that was an appropriate team activity, given the climbing stuff theme that we talked about all last year. It was determined if we ever decide to climb that Luke and Funchess and George Odom were the three guys who were going to lead the pack. Those three were pretty impressive, but we had a good time with it. Furthermore, same thing with Andrew this week, same as last week. We're just going to wait another week and reevaluate. And then, unfortunately, Javon Patterson did sustain an ACL injury, so he'll be out for the year. Tough break for him, but one of the things we know about Javon, he's a high-character guy. We've talked to him. We'll give him all the support he needs, and he'll rehab and get ready to go for next year.
Frank, Malik Hooker, his first off-season, he hasn't had to rehab. Do you see anything yet that suggests to you that he's a different player or a better player or physically more comfortable?
Yeah, I absolutely see a difference in Malik. I see a difference in the way he's moving, making plays on the ball. He just seems to be, in every aspect of his game, seems to be a notch or two higher. So I think that going into this offseason is healthy has served him well.
Did you not see that last year for a lot of the reasons that he was coming back from the ACL and all that?
I didn't have a history with him before, so last year, I knew Malik's reputation as a playmaker, as a ball hawk. So, I didn't have a lot to go off of other than the film, what film I saw. But it's just more. If I'm just more focusing on this year, I just see a guy who's dialed in. Not just physically but mentally. I just see him dialed in.
Frank, you've had how is it different? Why is that?
It's hard to put your finger on it. I just think confidence. I just think probably if I can't put words in his mouth, but physically feeling confident. This is a physical game, and when you're feeling good physically, it plays out into your body language, into your mindset when you feel like you can make the plays that you normally make. And I just think my guess is Malik's feeling that.
Frank, you've had, I think, relatively perfect attendance for most of the offseason. I wonder two things. Number one, how is that sort of relative to just your experience in the league? And then secondly, how do you as a coach sort of handle that? You can't demand anybody be here, but obviously there's communication, I assume. And just what's your stance on that? How do you handle it?
Yeah, I think it's a credit to the locker room leadership. The guys want to be here. And I just think it's the culture that the guys have set here. And relatively speaking, I think our attendance is way above average. And so I'm very happy with it. And we really don't try to send any hidden messages. So it's all just give Chris and the scouts a lot. We get guys who like to practice. That, as you guys know, that's a big deal to us. I know everybody likes to play football, but there's levels of that. And we like guys in this building who want to play football like all the time. And so it's paying off for us. I think we're getting better.
And then just one follow-up: is it better for the organization when you don't have to sort of, I don't say influence?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if they're here because they want to be here, that makes a difference, I guess.
Yeah. To me, it's night and day. Yeah. It's night and day. You're really getting to second and third layer issues that make you a better team rather than trying to spend the energy and the focus on corralling the troops together rather than focusing on energy on that and babysitting people and trying to get, come on, let's go. You're just talking about other things that are more relevant to getting better. So it's a big help.
Frank, how are you different as a head coach now from when you were this time last year? I mean, I know you spent a lot of time around head coaches in your career, but are you doing things differently? Maybe you're like, all right, well, now that I'm in year 2, let's do maybe X different than what we did last year.
I just think, like our players, we tell us as coaches, myself included, just like every aspect of my game, of the way that I coach, I just want to find ways to get better. So that includes areas, administrative areas, as far as scheduling. How can we make the schedule better? As a head coach, that's a big part of it. What's that look like? Connecting with players. How can I connect with the players more and in a deeper way? In my offensive role, how can I get better as an offensive coach? What can we do offensively, scheme-wise? Nick and I and the other offensive coaches, let's look at how we can get better there. So really try to take every aspect of what, each area of what I do, the administrative stuff, the just personal connection with players stuff, and then the offensive role in coaching. Each of those just fight to get better in each area.
And when you did, players always self-evaluating and going over how they did the previous season. When you did your own self-evaluation, did you say, were you pleased, or were you like, maybe if I'm in this position, I should do this differently? How did you look at your first year?
I just think that I had a lot to learn, but it was fun. It's fun learning, and it's fun learning and growing when you're with good people. And I'm not afraid to make mistakes. I made my share of mistakes, and I'll continue to make mistakes. That's just part of the process of learning. So, just want to maintain that aggressive mindset, a fearless mindset, and maintain a growth mindset. So, from that perspective, I just feel like I got a long way to go.
Frank, in terms of your receivers last year, as challenging as it was with like the receiver depth, like 4 and 5 spots last year, it looks like this year you're going to have a lot of competition come August for those spots. There's like 4 or 5, 6 guys. How have you seen that competition play out? I know it's early, but there's a lot of guys doing stuff out there in that spot.
Yeah, I think it is early, but I think like last year at this time, it wasn't as deep. And so I think those battles were starting to, in some ways, declare themselves a little bit even now, even though deep down you got to wait till training camp. But this year, it definitely is. There's more depth there, more guys that we have a lot of confidence in, and so, literally, we're let it all play out, and guys are going to get a lot of reps, and it's a question of who can stay healthy, who can be consistent, and who can contribute on special teams for that 4th and 5th spot.
What have you made of Chester's spring?
I think Chester's spring has been really good. Really good.
Speaking of that wideout depth, what more do you see from Reese Fountain?
Reese is more he's physically playing with more explosiveness. He's just confident. He's made more big plays. His route running has gotten a lot better. A lot of the tapes that we cut up and show to the team and show to the offense have been Reese making big plays. So really pleased with the progress he's made from last year to this year. And now, like we just said, in that spot, he has to continue to make that same growth and as far as his special teams contribution.
You mentioned last week that with Andrew and the Cavs, that if this was regular season, you guys had a game on Sunday, he could play with whatnot and stuff. Does he want to be out? Is he trying to get out there?
Oh, he's killing him. He's killing him, and he could be out. It's the same thing. He could be out there, but you got to take these things serious. So you got to trust it. And so what I've learned, especially after going through what we did last year, trust people and trust the process. I trust Andrew. I trust the process of everybody we got in the building working on it, and trust that we'll make the best decision for the team.
When you're a quarterback in this situation, I know you mentioned you had a captain. How do you offset what you can't get on the football field when you're in the classroom or the meeting rooms or whatnot?
Yeah, you get as many mental reps as you can. You in the meeting room spend extra time. I know Andrew spent extra time there as well, and then you spend extra time rehabbing and working out. And so I know he's done all those things.
Frank, with the fact that if he misses, I guess you hope he's going to be out there next week. You don't know, but if he misses all the off season, does it impede the offense, or do you just kind of?
No. In fact, I'm hoping he's going to be out there next week. I had a conversation with him the other day before this week when we made the decision. Hey, no, and so just playing it out. He and I sat there and said, if this plays out that we don't take a snap, it's okay. You know, it's not a earth-shattering. It's not a big news story as far as what we're doing as a team and what we're doing offensively. Am I anticipating out there? I'm not anticipating anything. You know what I mean? I'm just going to keep it. You know, just kind of stay right here, and hopefully we get some work next week and make progress and make more progress. I think every week we've made progress, and I feel confident where we're at right now.
It looks like Banagoo has been more with the defensive line the few times we've been out there. Is that something that changed maybe a little? Looked like after the draft you thought maybe linebacker initially?
Yeah, absolutely. It did start out as started out more linebacker. Then it was, hey, let's make it a little both. And he's really been flashing at defensive end. So there's been a little bit of an emphasis. So your observation is the right one. There's been an emphasis there.
You had Rock Sin and Paris Campbell not work. Is that just nagging things you don't want to push?
Yeah, you know, Paris had a little nagging physical thing, and actually Rock's was a personal day.
Frank, Braden Smith, I think this time last year and into camp, I mean, he was back and forth between positions. He settled in at tackle. What has been the progression as a result of just the time spent on task?
I mean, it's a big progression. I mean, I watch what he's doing right now, and I'm really impressed with him. I love everything about Braden. I love his approach. He's mentally as tough of a person as you want to be around. This guy wants to be coached hard, owns his mistake. When he makes a rare mistake physically or mentally, he owns it. He's really a model. I mean, this guy is a model the way we want to work. And then just the way his technique has continued to improve playing that position rep after rep after rep. We make a few adjustments with new offensive line coaches. I think he's fitting into that very well. I just think the arrow is continuing to be big time up for Braden.
Hey Frank, you guys were in pads for most of the last year. Is that the plan again this year, and what was the benefit of that last year?
Yeah, we'll be in a very similar schedule as far as time, as far as pads. Like the schedule is such, like Parks and I we'll sit through, we count up how many minutes were we actually on the field doing certain periods last year compared to this year, how many of them were pads. I mean, this is the NFL, so you look at every aspect of that. How many, when did we need breaks? When do we need more breaks? So we felt pretty good about our schedule last year, the tempo, the timing, the number of days in pads will be very similar. We might have a little bit less. We might pull off a little bit in a few key places from our study, but other than that, we felt pretty good about the schedule.
So that's it from Colts practice today. Nothing really remarkable out here on 56th Street tonight. Wrigley Field, the Cubs, the Rockies, 8:05 first pitch. Tomorrow night, the NBA Finals continue Game 3 live from the Oracle at 9 o'clock tomorrow night. Warriors, they're likely to have Klay Thompson available with that strained hamstring. Kevon Looney, he is out for the duration of the playoffs. Again, this has been Sports Nothing But Sports with Ken Sterling, brought to you by the great people at Today's Dentistry. Give them a call, 317-849-2933. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Breakfast with Kent at 8 o'clock on Facebook Live. Periscope Live at about 8:15. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Join me.